Dr. Kameyapun, co-convener, ladies and gentlemen, I am very delighted to be a part of this program on one-day national seminar on tribals and constitutional safeguards, the question of land rights in India. I express my thanks to the organizer for inviting us to present the tribal movement out there in Manipur. To begin with, Manipur hill areas, as we know, is occupying about 90% of the geographical area, and the valley occupied by the dominant Meitei community is about 10% of the area, total area, which is equivalent to about 650 square miles. The hill areas, the tribals live in the hill areas. The tribals were the Nagas and the Zhou, Kuki, Chin, Mizo ethnic groups, whereas the dominant Meitei community lives in the valley surrounded by tribal territories such as the Naga Hills in the north, the Lusai Hills in the south, the Chin Hills in the east, and the Kachar Hills in the west. Independently under the administration of their respective chief, whereas the valley was ruled by the Maharaja. Manipur, the princely state, merged with the Indian Union on the 15th of October 1949. In compliance with the Northeastern Reorganization Act 1971, the Manipur Legislative Assembly Hill Areas Committee was formed by inserting Article 371C to safeguard the rights of the tribal people in the hill areas of Manipur. This notification was issued by the then President of India, Dr. V.V. Guite, on the 28th of June 1972. However, the provision enshrined in the scheduled matters were not devolved till today. These are some of the scheduled matters that is enshrined in the Constitution of India under Article 371C. Give annual report to the President of India. However, the report of the Governor since 1972 to the President of India was not known till then. And we have mentioned the Article 164. As per this article, the state of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Orissa have the power to give the portfolio of the tribal welfare department to the concerned tribal minister. And this was exactly the opposite in the case of Manipur, because the Hill Areas Committee chairman should have been the Minister of Tribal Affairs, but that have never been happened in the case of the Manipur government. Actually, the chairman was selected by the chief minister against the constitutional provision. As per the constitution, the chairman of the Hill Areas Committee is to be elected by a member of the
Tribal
representative elected from the Hill Areas. However, till today, after promulgation of the Hill Areas Committee in 1972, this rule have never been followed, and the Chief Minister was always instrumental in giving favors to his party colleagues to hold the chairman of the Hill Areas Committee. The Manipur government has been always active in making policies, acts and amendments to the existing constitutional rights of the tribal people to illegally grab the tribal land, to take away the rights of the tribal people for so many years. 1960, this was the principal act, and another act, amended act, came into view, and this proviso was inserted by the government, and it was not put in the public domain, the number of amendments also. As per this provision, the government by notification in the official gazette can extend the MLR and LRA wholly or partly to any part of the land in Manipur. Now, if this proviso was inserted, that is in 1962, a good number of land have been already extended under this provision. To name a few, in 1962, 89 villages in Churachandpur was extended under this MLR and LRA, and 92 villages in Jiribam was extended under this act. In 1965, 14 villages in Sadar Hills and Makhau Tampak in Churachandpur district. In 1978, Hopum Valley in Tamenglong district, which measure about 809 hectares of land, was extended under this act. The Manipur government passed another bill, the language bill. The people vehemently agitated in demand for making the Meitei law under the 8th schedule of the Constitution. And when this agitation was on, the dominant community, they invited some of the tribal leaders and they negotiated with them that if they support the 8th language movement, then the tribal people would be supported to the movement in the extension for 6th schedule provision in the hill areas. But that never came into being, though the 8th schedule was already adopted by the parliament. And also, the dominant Meitei community had been enjoying general category, then scheduled caste category and OBC category for the past more than 3 decades. And in spite of the fact that they have been enjoying the bulk of all benefits that such category have enjoyed, dissatisfied, now they have demanded several tribe category since 2012. So these are some of the silent policies that the state government have adopted. Now, if you look at the screen, these are some of the ILP movement, which started way back in 1980. During those times, the movement was spearheaded by the All Manipur Student Union, and it keeps on moving year after year, and then finally in 2015 the silent policy came into being. The state cabinet formed a drafting committee, and in this drafting committee there is no tribal representative who could voice the interest of the hill people. The drafted bill was then tabled in the Special Assembly sessioned on the 28th of August 2015 and passed on 31st August without any discussion on the floor of the House. Now it is pertinent to mention here that the passing of the three bills which affects the interest of the Hill tribals without obtaining the views of the Hill Areas Committee is unconstitutional and against the power and function of Article 371C. The bill was not referred to the Hill Areas Committee in violation of Rule 159 and 160 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Manipur Legislative Assembly Hill Areas Committee Order 1972, promulgated by the then President. Knowing the bill was passed on the 31st of August 2015, there was spontaneous reaction in all the hill areas of Manipur and mainly in Churachandpur district, Lamka. Many of you may be very familiar about these video clips and the pictures that have been shown. My time will be more of a picturized in nature than speaking about the topic. After it was vehemently protested and the reaction coming from every quarters, the Joint Action Committee was formed on the 2nd September 2015 by student leaders and philanthropic organization leaders at Lamka, Churachandpur. after one of the unarmed protesters was hit with the rifle butt and he fell flat on the ground. Then the situation erupted. All the protesters turned violent, and we can see the young protester lying in a pool of blood in front of the Churachandpur police station. One boy who died in front of the police station is 11 years old, reading in class 6. His name is Mangchinkhup. The situation was too tense and volatile that the young boys, even on seeing the security forces, do not spare them. They burn vehicles. They also burn vehicles of the Deputy Commissioner of Churachandpur and another vehicle that belongs to the BSF Jawan. Tribal martyrs still lie in the mob of Churachandpur. Waiting for the last rite. Well, we are very uncertain when the last rite will happen.
District, the area which is dominated mostly by the tribals.
The voice of the tribals needs to be heard, and for this I think it's high time that we have separate administration to decide for ourselves and not have the valley decide everything for us.
air condition te zangina apun pi preserve bai ba de hele ko te yo tin ma a ko kya ding chi aur na te ya wa ja kila yuma ba na ipan lap na te kol lawa pai to je ni to ni na district na iki community na ding ra ki to na ding na Israel council ki to na na ha tu bola district dan ka to ki to na ding no on no kol na na ha tu to ta ai.
This is a torch rally. After the bill was passed on 31st of August 2015, there was outbreak of protest in every corner of the district, where 9 students were killed. Between 31st August and 1st September 2015. For almost 2 months, the bodies of the martyrs lays in the morgue without any preservation, because the hospital does not have cold storage to preserve. Managed to get ice cube, and then air conditioner, about 3 in numbers, were fit in the hospital morgue to preserve the dead bodies. And then after 2 months, the state government, under pressure from the public, they procure cold storage, and now the dead bodies are kept inside the cold storage. So this is the road to travel movement. The existing organization has become redundant in the eyes of the public, losing public trust, because whatever steps that have been taken was viewed on electoral politics, as the next general election, MLA election, is scheduled for 2017. And the JSC and MTFD spearheaded the movement at the epicenter, Lanka and the national capital respectively, gaining public trust and support. Now in this movement, the women organization also took active part in the agitation. First, they were engaged to check the eruption of violence by the youth. Plays a very important role in taking up the agitation. WhatsApp group, Facebook group, there are so many groups who take part in the protest. JC continuously picketed. Now the government, without addressing the core issue and without listening to the people's sentiment, they start playing divide and rule by sabotaging the tribal movement in any possible way. They started talking to individuals and groups who they believe would be able to extract undue influence on the JSC. They started talking to individuals, like the last was the JC ILPS, and before that even they started talking to the UG groups, underground groups, because they think that the armed groups may impose upon the JSC to bury the dead bodies. The people's voice is that the dead bodies will not be buried, or the last rite would not be performed unless there is something to achieve that the bill does not affect the hill areas and the tribal people. However, till today, the attempt of the government failed totally, and the dead body still lies in the morgue, waiting for an honorable burial. Now, as a part of this tribal movement, Churachandpur is such a place where when there is band or blockade anywhere in any other part of the district, Churachandpur people suffers most, because no road connectivity to take essential commodities and food supplies to other districts. On receiving a direction from the Principal Secretary Revenue or Revenue Commissioner that computerization of land records would be undertaken, hence all land records that is kept under other district have to be collected and kept in their respective district. However, the DC of Bishnupur denied the presence of land record of Churachandpur with them. As per record produced by the Deputy Commissioner of Churachandpur, there are 134 villages land record with the Bishnupur district, which it is difficult to convene even a special session of the assembly. And making any kind of omissions and commissions on the three bills is also difficult, because they have been introduced in the bill and passed in the assembly under the pressure of the CORCOM from across Myanmar. CORCOM is an umbrella organization of the Meitei underground groups who are operating from foreign countries like Burma, Myanmar. So we do not bow down, or we stand on the Charter of Demand, and they have the problem of addressing the issue because of pressure from the armed group. So this is the situation. And lastly, the Chief Minister requested us to prepare a list of grievances or the demerit of the bill as per our finding and submit it to them. Then only we'll continue to meet each other for solution. The same was submitted on the 11th of January 2016. However, till today, the JSC have not been invited for talks. But instead, we are picketed, and so many third parties are taking advantages under the request of the state government to sabotage the tribal movement. So these are some of the pictures and the reports that I could make today. Lastly, I would like to appeal to all participants, respected participants. Now is the time for all the tribal community, outside as well as inside the state of Manipur, to come together in unison and fight for safeguarding the tribal's identity, the tribal land rights, the tribal's economy against the Manipur government intrinsic policy of cultural alienation, political marginalization, and developmental exclusion policy. Now, if we do not stand together, there are so many bills that will come up again, and we don't have to die again and again to fight for our rights. Let us all rise up, dear brothers and sisters, and fight together. Let us not put any other color or our communal color so as to regain our land, our rights that we have acquired from our ancestors. So this is my last appeal.